We are working on page 453 today, and it looks like we will do 47 to, no, do we need to? Let's do 47 to 68. Yeah. 47 to 68 all. And I'll do some of the evens for you, and this should totally be review. They give you a triangle, and they use alpha and beta. I'm not going to bother with it. I'm just going to call everything A and B. So they have this as A, B, and C, which means this is little a, little b, and little c. Okay? So let's do 48. Capital A is 55 degrees. Let me lock this. 48. So this angle is 55. And little c is 22. And it wants to know what is the size of little b. Am I going to use sine, cosine, or tangent? So, ka, toa. I need to use those. Sine. Or sorry, cosine. Yeah, what they said, cosine. So the cosine of 55 equals b over 22. Is this a multiply or a switch problem? Multiply by 22. So the answer is 22 cosine of 55. 48. Okay, that's pretty easy. 12.6, yes. Okay, now go down to 56. Well, let's do 58, actually. So 58, well, no, let's do 60. 58 is really easy. So 60 says B is 47.2, and little a is 9.75. So this is problem number 60. In this section, you just fill out everything that's missing. You're given 2 pieces of information and you need to find everything else. So, how would I find little b? Tangent, good. So the tangent of 47.2 is equal to b over 9.75. So now this is a multiply problem. 9.75 tangent of 47.2 gives me 10.5. And then you could use the Pythagorean theorem, but just to remind you how to solve this type, how would I find c using those two sides? Cosine. So the cosine of 47.2 is equal to 9.75 over c. That's a switch problem. I just switched these. 9.75 divided by the cosine of 47.2. So 14.35. Yes? Well, in the first set, it tells you what to find. In the second set, it says solve the triangle. So I'm not quite done here. There's one more thing I need to do. And actually, all you have to do is 90 minus this. So you can take them all out of 180, or we know that those two angles always add up to 90. So I end up with 42.8. All right. Look at number 54. 54 is a little bit different. I have little b is 7.8 and c is 13. What's different about this? I don't have an angle. And right, I want angle B. That's what it's asking for. How would I find angle B? Sine inverse of 7.8 over 13. Sine inverse of 7.8 over 13. And that tells me 36.8 degrees if my calculator is in degrees. Otherwise, it'll spit out a radian measure. It won't make any sense. Now, what if I mess this up and I say second inverse of 13 divided by 7.8? It's going to give me an error. How come? O cannot be longer than H. So when you're doing sine inverse, you can't have a top-heavy fraction. What about tangent inverse? Can O be longer than A? Yes. Can A be longer than O? Yeah. So the tangent fractions can be top-heavy, but the sine and the cosine can't. Well, because it depends on what angle you're looking at, right? Because you're looking at different angles in each one. Yeah. All right, and then there are two-story problems, 67 and 68. Okay? Good luck.